The Boston Bruins have made quite the shocking move, recalling Fraser Minten from the Providence Bruins to play in tonight's game with the Boston Bruins. We're going to be talking about this move, why the Bruins made this move, as we had previously thought that they were going to keep all the youngsters down in Providence for the AHL playoffs, but we have some pretty good insights on what we're going to see tonight. We're going to be talking about all of that here in this video. Very quickly now, before we jump into this video, be sure to hit the sub button if you have not already. We know that just over 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a spot for all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Well, let's get into this video, starting off with Fraser Minten being recalled from the Providence Bruins, acquired from the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Brandon Carlo deal at the NHL trade deadline. This was a win for the Boston Bruins, a very, very big win. And from Ty Anderson here, the Bruins recalled Fraser Minten from Providence on an emergency basis, and Jeffrey Veal was sent to Providence. Now, like I previously mentioned, why are they calling up some of these younger guys? We know Fabian Lysell got called up, Fraser Minten now called up, when we initially thought that they were going to keep every player that could produce a win for the Boston Bruins down in Providence, as we are currently fourth worst in the NHL and going on the fourth pick. Of course, at the end of the video, once again, we're also going to be going over where we are in the standings, as well as a little lottery simulation, so be sure to stick around to the end for that. But Fraser Minten is a player that I'm very excited to see at the NHL level, and, with the 6 games remaining the Bruins have, there's not going to be any room to really increase their gap between where they are currently right now in the lottery area too badly. There certainly could be some change around, especially with whether or not Seattle continues to win or lose and where we currently stand. And the way that the Bruins are looking, it don't matter who they put in this lineup. It will not affect the Bruins at all. Now, Fraser Minten will be on a line here today on the third line with Marchand, Husnutdinov, and Vinny Lettieri. 2 very interesting players on this line. I'm very interested to see how this line will kind of get together here in this game, but you can tell the Bruins are trying to lose by putting more Elias Lindholm up on top with Morgan Geekie and David Pastrnak, moving Pavel Zacha down to the second line, put on the wing with Casey Mittelstadt and Fabian Lysell, and Vinny Lettieri, Marchand, Husnutdinov, and Fraser Minten centering them, and of course the fourth line that we kind of seen the past few games. But if I'm being honest, let's kind of touch on this a little bit. I don't hate the top 6. I really don't. Now, at this very point in time, obviously that's not going to win you any games. That's not going to be exactly what you need if you're going for a deep playoff run. But when we're looking at Morgan Geekie, Elias Lindholm, David Pastrnak, Zacha, Mittelstadt, and Lysell, on paper, we're disregarding these players' seasons and who they are, what they've been doing. On paper, these names look really good in the top 6. Now, this, of course, really has no effect on how they've been playing this year. Of course, Morgan Geekie's been playing good, David Pastrnak's been playing good, Lindholm has been terrible, Zacha's been good. Mittelstadt, I've been a fan of since he came over to the Boston Bruins, and Fabian Lysell has not really had enough time to get here and really get set into a lineup, but on paper, I don't hate it. But Fraser Minten is going to be another addition here to this NHL lineup that will just give him an opportunity to see how the environment goes, see how everything plays out for him, and see how everything, kind of adjusts to the NHL level. Instead of waiting until next season, come up, get a game here and there, maybe even, 2 or 3. Don't know if he'll be here for the rest of the regular season. I think that's still undetermined yet, and depends on, I think, what the Bruins do. I think if they win a game, they may send everybody down, but with what they're looking at right now, they're in a pretty good spot for that pick. And when we're looking at what they've said, what the Bruins have said, what Fraser Minten has said, we do have a few quotes here from them, starting off here with Fraser Minten. He said, "I've never skied at the rink before, never been in the city before. That's all new stuff. Definitely had a lot of new things. Just play hard. Looks like I've been playing down in Providence." And now in Providence, he has been playing exceptionally well. He's been very, very solid for his 10 games down there. When we're looking at his stats here, 10 games, 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists, including that hat trick and a hat trick and 1 assist in one of his first games. I believe it was the second or third game that he played. I cannot remember exactly which one. But when we're looking at his stats in the Providence compared to specifically the Marlies here, he's been slightly better in Providence. Now, I think the team is much better down in Providence. I think the Marlies are, of course, all right. The Leafs have a decent system. I don't want to glaze them too much, but when we're looking at the Providence Bruins, they have an elite team down there, and a lot of players that are going to be able to make a lot of people look better. And Fraser Minten has been one player who has not really been afraid to throw the body, kind of mix it up a bit, get into the areas of the dirty ice where players don't want to go, and he's been a big asset for wherever he's been, even in Toronto, even in the Toronto Marlies, even with the Providence Bruins. I'm excited to see how he gets into that level at the NHL. He's been in the NHL before, as you've seen, for 19 games, but still being there is a big part for his development and being 6'2", nearly 200 pounds. He's a guy that really don't mind to throw the body, and I think that's going to fit the Bruins lineup, specifically this one here as well, what we're looking at tonight, very well. And I'm assuming that he's going to be getting into that, showing off to the Bruins fans what he can do, and really just play his game, and that's a big part of his game regardless. So I'm excited to see how this does progress as well. Now, Joe Sacco also spoke out on Fraser Minten being recalled by the Providence Bruins, kind of touching on the reasonings behind it, and this is what he had to say. The reports that we got from Providence were that he's been very reliable, a smart player, he's been playing well down there, and it's an opportunity for the organization to get a look at him. So, kind of what I mentioned earlier as well. It does seem like this is just a move to be able to see what the Bruins like in him, what they don't, and specifically at the NHL level. I think he's going to be a great player when it does come down to time, but as the Bruins season now is really not where we want it to be. Of course, now in the fourth last worst position in the NHL, there's really nothing to lose. Bring up a guy, see how he does, make him come up here for a game, and these are the moves that I really don't hate to see, especially when it does come down to the younger players who are not going to have an immediate impact. But when it comes down to a guy like Charlie McAvoy, who we've been talking about a little bit here since he's coming back from injury, still not back, but coming to practice, being there, can still skate around, but he's close to returning. And hopefully, I want to see him back sooner rather than later, but I think it's best for the Bruins to shut him down here, risk no re-injury, and also risk not getting up a position in the standings. Because when we look at that, and I'll kind of touch on that here in a moment, the standings right now, they're still staying up fourth. James Hagen's here at number 4, which is one that I really like to see. And I think anybody here in the top 5, you can't go wrong. So as long as the Bruins do not really shift around too much, this is something that I'm totally okay with calling up, seeing a few different players here, getting a sense of what they will bring to the NHL level when they do get here next season, and when this team is really going to be looking a lot different from what we're looking at right now. But I wanted to pull this up from Ty Anderson as well. It's a very kind of interesting insight to when we look at this, that when Minten plays tonight, he'll become the 37th different skater to suit up for the Bruins this season, which is most by any Bruins team in a single season since a 37 skater look in 18-19. Next up, post-2005 lockout list would be 2005-2006 with 39. And it really goes to show what the Bruins have been trying to do. And remember earlier on in the season where we saw no moves, 0 call-ups, 0 people sent down, and really led us to the point we are now under Jim Montgomery. And really can tell that him and Joe Sacco are not the problem. This problem for this team was not coaching. It was the way it was structured. And now when we look post-deadline, the team, although it's still not good, still getting worse, it looks better when we're skating. And of course, the Bruins are too easy to play against. It's too easy for teams to win against them. But where we are right now, that's the point. That's what we're trying to get at. That's what we're looking for in this Boston Bruins team. But that's all I really got here for this part. Of course, Fraser Minten's first look here as a Boston Bruin. Excited to see tonight how he does play. It's going to be a very interesting game. I really do think, and when we're watching this game, take a look for number 93 on the ice. I think he's going to be very noticeable. He's going to stand out a lot due to the way he plays his game. So let me know in the comments right now, when you're watching this video, what you think about the call-up. And now when you're watching the game, come back to this video and take a comment, or write a comment about what you thought of his game. And of course, we'll be touching on the game here, likely tomorrow, about what was going on, Fraser Minten in specific as well. So be sure to stick around for that. But we are going to have one more thing here in this video. We'll pause here once again, kind of switch over to another scene, and we'll get into our draft lottery. So see you guys in a minute. All right, we're here once again. I mentioned this in a couple videos ago. Wanted to kind of do this, sim the lottery every once in a while in a video, see where we end up. Looking at the picks here right now, kind of getting an idea of who we would pick in that scenario. And of course, this is from tankathon.com. Nothing is confirmed with this. This is not anything. It's just going off the statistics from points and everything right now. But let's sim the lottery, see where the Bruins end up. Last time we were in the 5th position, and we are this time as well. Hopefully this is not the case. We don't want to see the Islanders move up 8 positions. But regardless of what happens in the top 5, and as I mentioned, I think the Bruins are going to be pretty in the clear with whoever they pick in there, as long as they don't go stray away from the top 5. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. Once again, let me know what you think about Fraser Minten here in the comments below. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.